The scenes are simply hellish. So much suffering from India's invisible killer. At one point, an official said one death was being recorded every minute from the poison gas leak in the city of Bhopal.
Bhopal, a bustling city in the heart of India. 40 years have passed since the night the air was filled with death. The name Union Carbide would become synonymous with humanity's worst industrial disaster. The Union Carbide India Limited plant, a subsidiary of the American multinational Union Carbide, began large-scale production of carbaryl pesticides in 1977, primarily under the product name 7, taking advantage of the friendly attitude of the Indian government towards international investment in local manufacturing. Zoning laws that would otherwise have prevented a chemical plant of this scale from being built adjacent to the local impoverished population and critical infrastructure were both ignored and unenforced. But the path to this fateful night was paved with warning signs. From its inception, the Bhopal plant was plagued with issues. Cost-cutting measures led to substandard safety protocols. Unlike its sister facility in West Virginia, which boasted automated safety systems with manual backups, the Bhopal plant relied solely on manual controls.
All of this is being watched very carefully in the little town of Institute, West Virginia. The people there live hard by another Union Carbide plant, which produces the same poisonous gas which swept over Bhopal, India.
Institute, a gritty little petrochemical town tucked into the West Virginia mountains, home of the only other Union Carbide plant in the world that produces methyl isocyanate.
Years before the catastrophe, concerns were raised about pollution within the plant by local trade unions as early as 1976. In 1981, a worker tragically died after inhaling phosgene during a routine maintenance job, highlighting the inherent dangers within the facility. Several highly toxic chemicals were manufactured at the facility during the production of the insecticides. Phosgene, classified as a Schedule III substance under the Chemical Weapons Convention, was used as a weapon during World War I. Monomethylamine was used as a reaction agent with phosgene to create methyl isocyanate, also known as MIC, in the production of the key insecticide product known as 7. Local journalist Rajkumar Keswani, sensing the impending danger, published articles in Bhopal's local paper Rapat, prophetically urging, "Wake up, people of Bhopal, you are on the edge of a volcano." Critics argue that the disaster was a direct consequence of corporate negligence. Years of underinvestment led to decaying facilities and a lax attitude towards safety. Crucially, many safety systems were either absent or non-operational. The MIC tank alarms had been malfunctioning for 4 years. The vent gas scrubber, designed to neutralize toxic discharges, had been turned off weeks prior. The gas flare safety system had been out of action for 3 months. The refrigeration system, meant to keep the volatile MIC at a safe temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit, was idle to save energy, leaving the MIC stored at a dangerous 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Even the steam boiler, intended for cleaning pipes, was non-operational. Slip-line plates, which could have prevented water from entering the MIC tanks during pipe cleaning, were not installed. The 3 tanks used for the storage of MIC totaled 63 tons of the toxic liquid. Tank E610 contained 42 tons alone. The pressure gauge on the critical tank E610 had been malfunctioning for about a week, yet it remained in use. Around 11 p.m. on December 2, 1984, an operator noticed a small leak and increasing pressure in storage tank E610, which held approximately 40 tons of MIC. A faulty valve allowed about a ton of water, used for cleaning pipes, to mix with the MIC. This triggered a vigorous exothermic reaction, causing the temperature and pressure inside the tank to skyrocket. As pressure built, the non-operational safety system stood useless as the runaway reaction increased exponentially. At approximately 1 a.m. on December 3rd, the safety valve gave way, and a plume of deadly MIC gas was forcefully ejected into the night air. An estimated 30 tons of MIC escaped within the first 45 to 60 minutes, increasing to 40 tons within 2 hours. A Union Carbide employee triggered the plant's alarm system at 12:50 a.m. as the gas concentration became unbearable. However, the public siren had been decoupled from the factory alarm system 2 years prior. It sounded briefly and was quickly turned off according to company procedure to avoid alarming the public over minor leaks. Workers evacuated, moving upwind to safety. Bhopal's superintendent of police was informed by a town inspector around 1 a.m. that nearby residents were fleeing a gas leak. Calls to the UCIL plant by local police elicited assurances that everything is okay, followed later by, "We don't know what has happened, sir." Hamidia Hospital was initially misinformed about the type of gas afflicting the patients flooding in, receiving contradictory reports of ammonia and phosgene before finally being told it was MIC, a chemical they had no knowledge of and no antidote for. Within an hour, over 27 tons of MIC had escaped into the atmosphere, carried by the wind across densely populated areas. For those sleeping, terror arrived without warning. Eyes burned, lungs choked, and a desperate struggle for breath began. Terror and panic spread like the gas that crept through the streets. People screamed, running in disarray, unable to see through the acrid haze. Thousands died by the following morning from choking, reflexogenic circulatory collapse, and pulmonary edema, their lungs filling with fluid. Children were even more susceptible to the heavier-than-air gas as it was denser and closer to the ground. Blinded by the gas, people fell as they ran, twisted in convulsions as they died in agony. Pregnant women had spontaneous abortions as they ran from the toxic plume. Autopsies revealed damage beyond the lungs, including cerebral edema, which is bleeding in the brain, kidney, and liver necrosis, and intestinal damage. Those who survived faced a lifetime of horrific suffering. By dawn, the true scale of the disaster became apparent. The dense gas cloud, heavier than air, was blown in a southeast direction over Bhopal. It stayed close to the ground, blanketing an estimated 40 square kilometers. The initial death toll was staggering. Over 3,800 people perished within the first several hours. By 48 hours, the number had climbed to over 8,000 dead. Apart from MIC, the gas cloud likely contained a cocktail of other toxic chemicals, including chloroform, dichloromethane, hydrogen chloride, methylamine, and carbon dioxide. The gas that devastated Bhopal, methyl isocyanate, is a potent toxin. It reacts violently with the water contained within the body, causing severe damage to the lungs, eyes, and other organs. This deadly mixture devastated all living organisms in its path. Thousands of animals, including buffalo, goats, and other livestock, perished. Within days, trees in the vicinity became barren, twisted husks. In the years that followed, the disaster continued to claim lives. Today, the total death toll is estimated between 15,000 and 25,000, with over 500,000 people suffering long-term health effects. The environmental impact was catastrophic. The area around the plant, already used as a dumping ground for hazardous chemicals, suffered further contamination. In 1982, 2 years prior to the event, public water wells near the factory had to be abandoned. Post-disaster investigations revealed that the abandoned plant continued to leak toxic chemicals and heavy metals. The area of groundwater contamination continues to expand. Testing in 2004 showed contamination present in 14 nearby colonies. Testing in 2022 showed that now 71 colonies were affected by the underground toxic plume that is extended over 4 kilometers from the plant site. Formal statements were issued claiming the air, water, and vegetation were safe, but people were warned not to consume fish. 40 years later, the wounds of Bhopal remain unhealed. Survivors and their descendants continue to suffer from chronic illnesses, including respiratory problems, cancers, blindness, and horrific birth defects. The abandoned factory site remains contaminated, poisoning the land and water, affecting new generations. Levels of heavy metals and other toxic chemicals still register thousands of times above safe amounts. The Bhopal disaster stands as a grim monument to the consequences of corporate negligence and the enduring impact of industrial catastrophes. It's a tragedy that continues to unfold generation after generation in the lives of those who call Bhopal home. Finally, after years of legal battles and the shuffling of responsibility, The Indian government is finally beginning the monumental task of cleaning the site, removing the deadly relics of this horrific industrial disaster.
I am confident that the victims can be fairly and equitably compensated without a material adverse effect on the financial condition of Union Carbide Corporation.